we want to demonstrate what our sixth graders who were in your seat 1 year ago when they were an audience member and now they're on stage in our band. And we just want to showcase some things as you're starting to think about sixth grade options for your electives. You get to sign up for some classes. There's always classes you have to take, and then there's some other options that you have, band being one of them. And everyone on here that's on stage, they did not know how to play these instruments or read music or do any of the things that they're going to do for you before they walked into the middle school. So even if you're like, I don't know how to play a trumpet, neither did anyone that was on stage. I don't know how to play a flute. I don't even know what a bassoon is. All of them were in your boots exactly a year. So we're just going to get started. We're going to play for you 4 pieces and kind of do a little demonstration on some of the others. So we're going to kick off our 6th grade band playing When the Saints Go Marching In. Don't they sound great? They've been playing for just a few months. My name is Mrs. Ewers. I am one of the band teachers here, as well as Mr. Piersma. And I'm back in our booth running all the sound and the video is Mr. White. So we have 3 of us that run the band at any given time. And we also have our senior assistant, Nathan Traver. He is a senior currently, but has grown up through the band program. He was in your seat 8 years ago as a 5th grader. And he helps out our last 2 hours of the day. So you'll see him conducting as well. But let's get a chance to talk about all the instruments that are on stage. We have about 80 students here, but many holding different instruments. So one of the very first instruments that you can start in 6th grade, we start 4 of them. We start 2 woodwinds and 2 brass, and then from there we expand. So one of the first woodwinds you can start right away from day 1 is our flutes. So flutes, if you want to hold these up. This is a woodwind instrument, even though it's not made of wood, and it doesn't use a reed. It's still classified as a woodwind. You make a sound on that by blowing across the top of it. Let's go and hear what our flutes sound like on our Old MacDonald. There we go, flutes. And 1, 2, ready, go. Great job, flutes. That's one of the first ones. We'll come around to your school in the next couple of weeks. We're going to do some fittings for everybody, and that'll be one of the first ones you can try, so we can see if we can make a sound on flute. Also, in our woodwind instrument, we have an oboe, and we have just 1 oboe. Then every band is usually only 1. And this is not an instrument we start, but you can start on any woodwind and move to oboe. So let's hear what our oboe sounds like. Nice Cora Lindsay, everybody. That was excellent. Having to do a solo all by yourself. Another instrument that you can start on the very first day, again, we start 2 woodwinds, flute's one of them, and the other one is the clarinet. So clarinet's one of them. The biggest section of the band has some of the warmest woodwind sounds. They have the biggest range of any woodwind. It is the biggest section, so we will like to have a lot of clarinets. Here is what our clarinet sounds like. Nice job, clarinets. Clarinets can be made of wood, and they also do use a reed. So I didn't get a chance to talk about that, but they have a reed that attaches to their mouthpiece, whereas Cora on the oboe is playing what we call a double reed. It's like 2 reeds. So that is another part of the woodwind instrument. Way in the back, related to the clarinet, is the bass clarinet. So bass clarinets, you want to hold them up as safely as you can, the biggest clarinet. And it plays the lowest range, but uses the same fingerings as clarinet. That's an easy one we can switch to later when we switch instruments. So let's hear what our bass clarinets sound like. 1, 2, ready, go. Excellent job, bass clarinets. That was really good. Also with the bass clarinets, we do have a bassoon. He is not here today, but we do have, there's 1 bassoon per band. We'll move on to our saxophones, which is our last woodwind instrument here. Saxophones, we want to carefully hold them up. So saxophones are an instrument you can switch to. We would recommend you start on clarinet if you're interested on saxophone, just because it uses that reed, rather than starting on flute. But here's what our alto saxophones sound like. And 1, 2, ready, go. Great job, saxophones. I didn't miss any woodwind instruments. I think I did. So that's our woodwind class. So the main thing is we're in 2 different classes for 6th grade woodwinds, 6th grade brass. And we just want to make sure when we start doing fittings and you're really interested in band that we get you in the right class. So that would be any of our woodwind team that you could be a part of. Going on to our brass class, we start 2 brass instruments, trumpet and trombone. Let's demonstrate the trumpets first. If you want to hold up our instrument, trumpets, one of the brass instruments, and it's made of brass, and you make a sound by buzzing into the mouthpiece. Trumpets have the melody in every band. That's a great high brass instrument that we'd love to have many in every band. Here is what our trumpets sound like. And 1, 2, ready, go. Nice job, trumpets. Good job. We're gonna do the trombones next, and then we'll do horns. So trombones is the other brass instrument that you can start from the beginning. It is a low brass instrument. It means it plays the lower notes. And you also notice it has a slide. We'll talk about that in a second. Here's what our trombones sound like. And 1, 2, ready, go. Nice job, trombones, our low brass. Now, because they're the only instrument in the band that doesn't have valves or buttons, they have a slide, we can do some other really cool things with it, like a gliss. So trombones, let's show them a gliss. Nice, so that's a really cool addition to the band. From there, then, on any brass instrument, so generally speaking, if you want us, you can start on trumpet or trombone and move to these others. We have the French horn as an instrument we had later, so horns, if you want to hold up our beautiful French horns. They have the biggest range of the band and a beautiful, nice, warm middle voice sound. Let's hear what our horns sound like. And 1, 2, ready, go. Nice job, French horns. down to our last two instruments of the woodwinds and brass section. We have our baritones, which is next, which is another instrument you can switch to later in the year. And it reads the same notes as trombone and plays in the same range, has a nice, really warm sound. Here's what our baritones sound like. And 1, 2, ready, go. Excellent job, baritones. Nice read. And the biggest instrument in the woodwind and brass family is our tubas. And that you can usually switch from trombone, but we can switch from either. Very, very large, very low sounding instrument, the base of the band. Let's hear what our tubas sound like. And tubas, 1, 2, ready, go. Nice job, tubas. So there's many different sections in the band, and there's a spot for everybody in one of those sections. Whichever sound that you might like to have, or you like the best, would be a good section that you could be interested in, whether it's woodwinds or brass. We do have one more section. We'll save them for the end, though. But let's go ahead and hear what that sounds like all together. So we do rehearse somewhat separately, woodwind class and then brass class. And it's really exciting when we finally get to come together. So here's everybody with Old MacDonald Had a Band. From all of the elementary schools, and I know sometimes when you're sitting there in 5th grade, you might think this is something else. Nope, this is made up of students just like you. We have from all the schools are represented. So how about, so we can all see, you can see your last year's friends or classmates, and also your teachers. How about if you went to Star Elementary last year? Why don't you go ahead and stand on up? Felt rumble for our Star. How about if you went to Northeastern last year? Why don't you go ahead and stand on up? Nice, Northeastern. Some waving in the back too, our percussion. How about if you went to Central Elementary last year? Ooh, lots of Central. How about if you went to Southeastern last year? Lots of Southeastern too, wow. In every section too. How about if you went to St. Rose last year? Did you have some St. Rose in here too? How about if you went to a different school and you just moved to Hastings? We got many of those too. Yay! Nice. What's really cool is you can see that it's all of the all the schools, and even every section. It's not like one section is just one school. All right, we're gonna continue on with our third selection, which is Ode to Joy. a couple of weeks, Mr. Piersma, myself, Mr. White, and Nathan will be to your schools to visit you, to trial you on the 4 instruments that we start. The main reason why is if you're interested in band, which I hope all of you are, we just have to know next year, when you're in 6th grade, if you're going to be in the woodwind class or the brass class. And we'll figure out more later exactly which instrument you'll play, but we just have to get you in the right class. The other classes that you can sign up for in 6th grade, you can be in band, you can be in choir, you can be in gym, you can be in band and choir, and you can do band and gym for like a semester, because they have this class that they're this selection called rotation. In rotation, you get things like computers, you get gym, you get an art class, and I think a teen leadership. So that means every 9 weeks you're switching to a different class. Band can't be in that rotation, unfortunately, so you can do band and rotation, which a lot of students do, but you can't be like in choir and do rotation and think you'll get band in that, because band is the only one that's year-round. You can imagine why, because we have to do this every day. We can't just jump in at the 9 weeks and try and teach you an instrument. So just so you know, you have those 3 options. Like everyone has to take an English, you have to take a math. Those will be in your schedule, but your other schedules are your choice. And we just want you to consider band as an option of one of those choices, because it's the only year you can start. So if you're kind of thinking about it and you're like, I'll do it in 7th grade, 6th grade it's weird because it's the only time that you can start, because we build on it every year. Okay, whereas like choir, you can start in 7th grade if you want. Gym, you can start in 8th grade if you want. But this is the only one that you have. This is the one time. Okay. We're going to finish, or we didn't get a chance to feature our last section. In the back is our percussionists. So percussion, if you want to wave here. Now they play all the drums, keyboards, cymbals, all the stuff, and that you can start on any instrument. You can start on flute, clarinet, trumpet, or trombone, and switch to percussion. And they get to rotate and play all the drums in the back. Here's what our percussion sounds like on Hard Rock Blues. Ready, guys? And 1, 2, ready, go. Percussion. And our last selection for you from the band is going to be Hard Rock Blues, a full band. And cool. All right, here we go. Here's Hard Rock Blues. Our 6th grade band, everybody. All right, one more thing we do have for you that we want to show you. So in 6th grade is obviously when we start all of our instruments. But there's so much more that we do in our band program. So, and that only starts in 6th grade. One of them is their 7th grade band, 8th grade band, and we also have a middle school jazz band, a middle school drumline, a middle school winter guard, and all of this goes into high school. So there's so much you can do in the fine arts in Hastings, which is starting right as you start your choices here coming up for middle school. Our middle school drum line, which is made up of 7th and 8th graders, that's open to any band student. You can play any instrument and be in the drum line. We're going to play a couple cadences. We're going to play a total of 4 cadences for you, and then we'll be on out of here. So we're going to go ahead and bring those guys out now. Go. Here's a couple of our cadences for you. Thank you, everybody, for being such an amazing audience. Mr. Piersma, Mr. White, and I cannot wait to come around to all your schools and meet you in the next couple of weeks and talk more about middle school, which is going to be coming up soon. All right. Okay, so I think we can start dismissing by school. Maybe